I'm married to a comedian. Did you know? John Richardson. Oh, yeah. You know he is. Do you know, because I'm going on tour, my management company, they took a Facebook advert out and someone said, don't read the comments. So I did. There was just one that bothered me, and this guy had put, without trying to be too crude, how many has she had to get the career she's got? I mean, the answer's one, but... It's weird to applause that, isn't it? It's only weird for my granddad who's watching. That's not weird. You've made that weird for an 87-year-old. Anyway, but the thing, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've started to do a bit of telly now, and I'm in this weird stage where I'm getting recognised, but I'm not used to it yet. And I walked in a pub last night, and there was a woman staring at me, and I thought, what are you fucking looking at? And then I realised, oh, it's me. I did, you know Michael McIntyre's The Wheel? Have you seen it? The game show? I lost someone £98,000. If you've seen the show, you know they go back down in the ground. When he went down, he turned to me and said, I've had a lovely day, thank you. That would have slapped me. We're both vegan now. I'm a vegan that likes steak for the iron, and John's a vegan when he's interviewed on TV. It's a weird life for him, though, you know. As seeing it through his eyes, the situations we're getting from... Because he's been on TV 10 years. We went and did this gig, you know, in a school. And then we parked up, and he turned to me and he said, I've got to go. And I was like, oh, all right then, just wait till you get in. He was like, I've got to go now. And he didn't let me get out. He got on the back seat, and luckily we had a bucket because we've been to Seaside. We've got blacked out windows. And I got out, and there was 2 of his fans waiting for him. And they said, we've come all the way from Rotherham to see John. They said, where is he? I said, he's shitting in a bucket in the back of the car. And they said at the same time, we'll wait. But we're both vegan, and then when we go out for a nice meal, I'll order the steak for the iron, and he'll order butternut squash. And then he'll be looking at my steak and he's not listening to what I'm saying. And so what I do right at the end, I go, oh, I can't eat that last bit. Oh, what a waste, like that. And then we just swap the plates round and it's all in silence. And he eats this bit of steak, and the look on his face after he's eaten it is like, you know those Facebook adverts that go viral of the deaf baby when it gets a hearing aid? And here's its mother talk. That's what it's like.
As much as you want to save animals, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do it by buying cosmetics. Pretty sure you can't walk into the body shop and buy some burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub, and some little badger somewhere in Scotland is going to go, wow, I feel a whole lot better about my life right now. Somebody's buying that burdock root peppermint oil foot scrub. I don't see the point in testing cosmetics on rabbits anyway, because they're already cute. Slather some lip gloss and eyeliner all over. Now they're all gussied up like some $3 whore. There's no dignity in that for a rabbit whatsoever. Want to test out cosmetics? Test them out on big game, because they stink. Get up under a hippopotamus there and get some roll-on deodorant under his armpit. See how fresh and self-assured he stays all day, huh? Little lip gloss on a beaver. Real beaver. Stay with me, fella. Real beaver. Right? Dam-building, log-eating beaver. If he's charged through 60 logs and he's still wearing that lip gloss, that's some damn good lip gloss right there, ladies and gentlemen. You know this whole thing about, you ever meet someone famous and you tell your friends, and then they say, well, what was he like? Because all they really want to hear is that he was a prick. So they like to say Tom Cruise is the nicest guy in Hollywood. And I always think, well, if I was making $8 million a film, I'd be nice too. Jesus Christ. But I'm not sure he is that nice. Because I always read these articles about how he's so insular and he's into his Scientology and he, stays at a hotel, won't make eye contact with anyone in the hotel because he doesn't want to talk about the plots to his new films. Apparently, as if staring Tom Cruise in the face, he would just crack under pressure. What are you staring at? Hey, you want to hear about my new film? You seen a Tom Cruise film like he couldn't figure out the plot in about 18 seconds? Oh, Christ. He's a cocktail maker. He's a pretty good cocktail maker, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence and can't make cocktails anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better cocktail maker. A riveting piece of cinema that was. Then he's a race car driver. Pretty good race car driver, too. Till he has a crisis of confidence. Can't race cars anymore. Then he meets a good-looking woman who talks him into being a better race car driver. Then he's a jet pilot. So we're starting to see a pattern emerge here. Pretty good jet pilot? Yes, he was. Until he had a crisis of confidence, couldn't fly jets anymore. Then I believe he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better jet pilot. Then he was a sports agent. Then he was the brother of a retarded guy. He was a pretty good brother of a retarded guy until he had a crisis of confidence and wasn't so sure he was such a good brother of a retarded guy. And then he met a good-looking woman who talked him into being a better brother of a retarded guy. Then he was some kind of, I don't know what he's in now, War of the Worlds. Maybe he fights the world. You know what? I bet he's a pretty good world fighter. But at some point he'll probably have a crisis of confidence. You're going to meet a good-looking woman who convinces him it's okay to fight the world. Could be a Scrabble player for all I care. He's a pretty good Scrabble player. Until he draws all vowels. Has a crisis of consonants. And he meets a lovely Welsh woman who teaches him a lot of words he's never heard before.
I'm used to my appearance provoking the full spectrum of facial reactions everywhere I show up, and you absolutely did not let me down. You were delighted, weren't you? You gave me some wonderful face when I came up here. You looked at me like your mother-in-law just cancelled dinner. I've been lucky enough to travel, and I'll never forget my first trip to Australia. I went to a place called Perth. I got off the plane. First person that saw me said the following. Hey, mate! Hey, mate! Why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Hey, mate, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? Now, this man opened the interaction with the words, hey, mate. Our eyes met, right? I was the mate. Case closed. Then he said, why is Freddie Mercury wearing a kimono? I looked around, there was nobody else there. I was persons 1 and 2 in the rhetorical question. I've never met this man, and already, grammatically, I'm on the back foot. I wasn't going to put up with that. It would have been proud of me. You can't show any weakness. I summoned up every ounce of testosterone in my body, and I fired it ocularly at this chap. And I said, I think you'll find that this is a smoking jacket. Yeah, I showed the bugger. There's a lot that's not made sense, though, and one of the things that I still struggle with to this day is how uptight us Brits are. I didn't realise in the UK, how are you is a rhetorical question. How are you is a rhetorical question. If somebody from the UK asks you how you are and you tell them, they would be mortified. Now, there are geographical anomalies, I'm delighted to say. If you ask somebody from Liverpool how they are, they will tell you. 10 times out of 10, and I love them for that. Now, from personal experience, they oscillate wildly between two very distinctively different states. The first one is thus. How am I? I'm sound, mate. I'm buzzing. I'm having a belter. Do you know what? Work's sound. Air indoors is sound. Even our Anthony's being sound. Look at the weather, lad. Cracking the flags. I love you, kiddie. Apologies for the accent, by the way. I have the ability to blend in seamlessly with my environment wherever I go. I feel an energy, I match it, we become almost indistinguishable. Silly. Now, that's the first state. Now, the second state of Scouse being is rather different, and it is as follows. I'm fuming, lad. Oh, don't you start, lad. I am fuming here, mate. I'm fuming. I am fuming. I'm up the wall with work. I've seen me arse with my dad. Eventim to being shite again. You're doing my fucking head in. I am fumigating naked.
I was such a fat kid. My mother used to buy bathing suits with blowholes in them. It was just... But my parents... I don't want to go into my childhood here because it's wrong. My parents hated me, okay? We're all going to hear the story, aren't we? My parents hated me too. All I ever heard growing up is, why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Why can't you be like your cousin Sheila? Sheila had died at birth. They just hated me. Whenever we would go like in front of a street, each parent would take my hand, hold our hand, we're crossing the street, and then they'd swing me into the traffic. They used to say, take candy from strangers. Ask the funny man in the raincoat, does he own a van? It is just... No, I had a very bad childhood, and that's because, and I'm sure none of you give a damn, but I was the only Jewish kid, this is the absolute truth, growing up in an all-Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's? The Irish people. Only Jewish kid in a Catholic neighborhood. You know what that's like? You were all doing Hail Marys, I was doing Hail Murrays. I mean, it was just... No Christmas tree? No Christmas tree. Do you know what that's like when you're the only kid without a Christmas? Because everybody has Christmas trees. And nowadays, it's like, well, we do it for all faiths. It's such bullshit. Yeah, we walk into an office building, and there's a Christmas tree, and there's a menorah. Bullshit. The Christmas tree goes up, 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 up. There's like a little shitty menorah with 2 orange lights that some angry Puerto Ricans lit backwards. I mean, yes. Juan, you lit those lights backwards. Fuck you, you killed our Lord. I mean, it is just... So, I'm at the age where I figure, screw it, I'm going to have a Christmas tree. I got the biggest Christmas tree I got a 2-story high Christmas tree. I put everything you could think of on that. Up, 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 up. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. On the bottom, I got the manger. I got the whole goddamn thing going there. The wise men, the sheep. The only thing is, I have the baby, but I'm Jewish. I got him a nanny. It was just, oh yes. And I redressed Mary. She didn't look good. That stupid thing over her head, come on. I put her in a Chanel suit, Manolo Blahniks, and a Louis Vuitton pocketbook. You're the mother of God. Look it. It is just... Am I wrong? If she had looked like that, she would have gotten into the inn. Yes. The point is, it's about looks. Mary, she looked good. She would have done better. Mother Teresa... Oh, don't give me... Oh, Mother Teresa, if she had looked better, she'd be a saint by now. Was she a bow wow? Yes. Did she need electrolysis? Let's talk to each other here. Even lepers were throwing their fingers at her. Here, get my brain. Because it is all about looks. This is my message, Great Britain. This is my message. Looks count. Education, looks count. I have no sex appeal, and it has screwed me up for life. Peeping Toms look in my window, pull down the shade. You have no idea. My gynecologist examines me by telephone. It is just...
We just make shit decisions. Men make immoral decisions. We make irrelevant decisions. We make immature decisions. We make decisions when we don't even know there's a decision to be made. But you know what? At least we make a decision. No. Let's try this one on with the class, will we, eh? Look at all the couples sitting there now. Look, you listen to him. You listen to him. I went to see Patrick Kielty the other night. Was he funny? No, but he was true. Is it just me? Am I an indecision magnet? Eh? Honestly, I can get all sorts of women. Can I get a woman who will make a decision? I'm not talking big decisions. I'm not talking should I murder your man, move to Australia. Talking everyday decisions. What do you want to do tonight? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, I don't know. We go for a takeaway, or we could get a movie, or go for a meal. What do you want to do? No, I don't know. What do you want to do? So you go to the restaurant. The sommelier comes over. Would sir like red? Would sir like white? Oh, God, I don't know, maybe the red, but then the red stains my teeth. Maybe the white, but hang on, are you having the fish? Because if you're having the fish, then you should have the white and I'll have a little sip. Oh, I don't know, I'm really not sure. Just the red, please, yeah. Save yourself, go for it, I have to live with this, okay? Gets to the starter. Oh, I don't know, maybe the duck or the prawns, or the duck and the prawns. Hang on, am I allergic to the duck? No, did Jill like the prawns? Oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know. If you were me, what would you have? You by the fucking throat, that's what I have! Girls, have you any idea how difficult it is for a man to sit in a restaurant, look across at the woman he loves, and think to himself, if I marry this woman, she's going to want to decide the name of my firstborn child? If I marry this woman and I'm unfaithful, she's going to decide whether to keep me in the house or make me leave and keep half my stuff. If I'm involved in a terrible accident and I'm on a life support machine, she's going to decide whether to keep me alive or turn me off. And I'm looking at her and she can't even make her mind up between the chocolate cake and the sticky toffee pudding. And do you know the worst thing about this? I'm looking at couples. I'm looking at couples now who women should now be turning to the men and going, oh my God, would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? Would I turn it off? Would I keep it on? And the only thing going through your minds, girls, chocolate cake, toffee pudding. Oh, it's a toughie, Paddy, it's a toughie. Ooh. Is the cake hot?
I have this voice all of the time. You might be thinking, oh, she's hard of hearing. That's why she has that voice. No. I want you to know, no, I don't. It has nothing to do with the hard of hearingness. It's just an extra. Just a kiss on my forehead from God himself. Just an extra. I live with, this is my all the time voice. This is my sex voice. This is my sex voice. It is, I have sex, I go, oh, I love that. I go, oh, can you do that but slower? That's what I say. That's what I say. I say that during sex. I want you to know I do have sex. I want you to know that. I know if I say it, it makes it sound like I don't have sex, but I have sex. Okay, I have sex with people, and people have sex with me. And it's the truth. It's just what happened. I have sex. I just do. It took me a long time to get started having sex because I come from a Latin American mom. And my mom used to talk about my vagina every day, but only in metaphor. My mom, she'd say stuff like, she'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy a lock that can be opened by every key, Lara. She'd be like, Lara, nobody wants to buy an apple that's been bitten by someone else, Lara. She'd be like, Lara, if you give them sex too soon, they won't stay with you forever. Lara. That one's pretty straightforward, not really a metaphor, that last one. Pretty straight to the point. That's kind of what she meant with the whole thing. It took me a long time to get started because of that. And I live in the Netherlands, 6 years now I live there. It's great, it's good. I live now with my partner, an Argentinian guy, Fernando, okay. We live together. I love him. I brought him over, actually, from Argentina. We met in Argentina, and then I brought him over to live in the Netherlands on my back, me, him, and a donkey. It took 3 days and 3 nights, long and arduous, but we made it. We made it, now we live together there. It's good. I love him. He has no sense of smell. What a good disability to have in a partner, if I may. The best disability to have in a partner. Because as a partner, you can be nasty. You can. You can be as nasty as you want all of the time. Of course, not good to be nasty because then you have to live in the nasty as well. And that part you forget about. You forget. Sometimes I'm like, ooh, I can fart while I eat. But then you have to eat in a fart, and no one wants, like, if you can choose to not eat in a fart, maybe better to just eat in clean air. You might be thinking, oh, but Lara, what about the sound, you deaf-ass bitch? Don't call me that. It offends my family. I actually will have you know, if you must, that my farts do not have sound. They don't. It's not a tree fell in the forest situation. I can't hear them. Joke's on me. Haha, no. My farts actually do not have any sound. They do not have any sound because I have what's called a butt cheek gap. You know about this? A BCG for short. It means my arse cheeks don't touch. They just don't touch each other. I have a gap. A gap between my... And we all know, famously, most of the sound from farts come from the stress of the air trying to get through the cheeks. You know about this. I Googled it, it's the truth. If the air is trying to get through, this is my impression of most people's farts. And this is my impression of my farts. Come straight out because I have a butt cheek gap, which means I can fart while I eat if I want to. I don't, but I want you to know that I can.
I was on holiday recently. I was on an all-inclusive. We all love an all-inclusive holiday, don't we? Oh, aye. Chips and gatto for breakfast. Yes. I always think it's amazing. I can always identify where people are from on an all-inclusive holiday. It's fascinating for me. Like, the Italians, you can always tell the Italians because they could put on a bag of rags and look amazing. Then you can see the Germans, and they're quiet, and they're reserved. And then there's us, the British. That's interesting, isn't it? Because we all want to become pals with each other. I've had a pen pal in Woking for 25 years that I met in Lanzarote. But it was a really, really interesting for me because there's a way I can always tell if someone is from the south of England on holiday. And it's I don't need to hear your accent, nothing. The way, number one, I will tell if you are from the south of England is it will be 9 o'clock at night. It's 28 degrees. The moon and the stars are out. And you come out wearing a wee jumper. Because it gets a bit chilly. It's 28 degrees, the moon's out, I'm Scottish, I'm like past the factor 50 hen. I do not trust the moon burn, get me the factor 50. Then there's another way I can always tell someone is from the south of England. You and I are on an all-inclusive holiday. We can eat as much as we want, and they will go to the bar and they will order a half pint. No, you can't order a half pint in Scotland. Next time you visit Scotland, try and order a half pint. That is one of the most tense conversations you will ever have. About 3 months ago, I went to a bar in my home city of Glasgow, and I says to the barman, can I have 2 pints of lager and a half pint of lager? And he looked at me, and he went, what was that? I said, it's 2 pity. He went, no. Just the last one. I went, it's just a half pint of lager, mate. Hold on. Come here. Tell him. Just the last one. I went, it's just a half pint of lager. Is that for you? It's for my pal. Ah. Are they on antibiotics? Are they pregnant? Would they like a colouring book and crayons with that?
Years ago, when they were making Braveheart, everyone said, oh, it's ridiculous. Mel Gibson playing a Scottish guy. That's not going to be very convincing. And look at him now. An alcoholic racist. The most Scottish thing I've ever seen, I was going through a town called Bathgate at night, and there was a guy pissing against a front door, like that, who then took out his keys and went inside. I'm from Glasgow. If I had to explain Glasgow to you, I'd say that if I had to pick a city in the world where I could depend on a member of the public to punch a man who was on fire, to punch a flaming man to the ground. We should get a photo of that blown up and use it as the welcome sign at Scottish airports. And underneath we should have the words, Scotland welcomes careful drivers. I mean, the naivety of Al-Qaeda trying to bring religious war to Glasgow. We're 400 years ahead of you guys. You've not even got a football team. There's a fallacy, isn't there, that baggage handler prevented hundreds of people from being horribly burned. These were Scottish people flying to Spain. People say it's good they didn't hit a fuel depot. I think it's good they didn't hit the queue coming out of duty free. They got up like Hiroshima. British Army have got a big recruiting drive on in Scotland at the minute. Because that's what you need if you're fighting an unwinnable war in the desert. More ginger people. They couldn't send Prince Harry. They couldn't afford the resources required to start developing factor 60,000 sunblock. It's not always the friendliest place in the world, Scotland. I once saw an English guy in Glasgow trying to order a pint of lager and lime, and the barman went, "We don't do cocktails." We can't just be dour, negative bastards up there. John Logie Baird invented the TV, and when people came up to congratulate him, he went, "Aye, but there's fuck all on." We're looking forward to the Olympics in London. I'll take that as a no. They say the Olympics is going to rekindle English national pride. I mean, come on, for 9.2 billion, you could have written "fuck off Germany" onto the moon.
People ask me all the time, so Rich, how did you end up becoming a comedian? And I always say, why do you say "end up," like I made a mistake? It's kind of a polite conversation you have with a tramp. So, fella, how'd you end up in a skip? The most fantastic job in the world, right? You make people laugh, you, fella, with all that stress on your face. Look at you, sit in the front row trying to get the jokes before anyone else. How desperate are you for comedy, my friend? Well, you people, Rich, put... Oh, I'm sorry, what? I wasn't expecting a response. Do you work?
No, I'm a student.
A student, all right. No more questions, Your Honor. It's very easy. No heavy lifting. Yeah? Why don't you think about being a comedian? What are you studying?
History.
History. That goes back a long time, doesn't it? Why don't you try American history? A couple hundred years. Boom, you're done. Listen, here's the thing, all right? You just say intelligent things stupidly. That's all there is to being a comedian. Or maybe it's stupid things intelligently. It's not rocket surgery. I'll tell you that right now. That's what I get asked all the time. So I bet you were the class clown. Were you the class clown? Screw you. Why would you suggest I took a childhood disorder and turned it into a career, you prick? No one ever says to a hooker, were you the class whore? I bet you were the class whore, weren't you? Let the mystery be. I love watching Brits snap. That is the greatest thing in the world. When a Brit snaps, you don't even know they've snapped. It's not like Americans who take out 8 or 9 people with a high-powered rifle because they're social animals. Brits snap and you go, 2 hours later thinking, I think that guy snapped while I was talking to him. At that point where he crushed the pint glass with his hand, he was a bit pissed off. That's why when it comes to a war on terror, something we invented, the war on terror, because Brits would never have a war on terrify, because what's not terrifying to Brits? Everything. They just don't show it, right? Brit, you've had giants plucking your daughters out of villages a couple thousand years ago. Look that one up, history boy. It's true. So the basic British reaction to anything terrifying is this. How much is this going to cost? You can't really terrify. That's why I'm pretty sure the war, the whole terrorism thing, I think the terrorists have just kind of given up on Britain, because what can they possibly do, right? Listen, I would never compare the scopes of tragedy of, say, the World Trade Center to the bombs that blew up in London, but the reaction is completely different, right? America still has this entire culture of fear about terrorism. It's basically manifests itself by terror alerts being scrolled across the bottom of the TV screen by color. No explanation whatsoever. Just today's terror alert is orange. Now back to our show. What the hell was that? What does that mean? Orange, that's hunting accidents, roadworks, right? That's not good. It means be very, very aware of terror. So dwell on it now and then. Whereas in Britain, they blow up the buses in London. Next day, people are back at the bus stop waiting for the bus, right? And complaining about it because they're Brits. Bus is late. I mean, it's late. The one yesterday blew up. Yeah, well, that was yesterday. Today's today. I live in the present and the bus is late. That's why when you watch a Brit snap, right, you got to get really close to them. They'll pick a high street and just corkscrew for a while. That's... Not even knowing what direction to... What direction is corkscrew anyway? This is bullshit. And then you get too close and then you get sucked into the vortex, right? Are you okay? That moment when a Brit truly snaps, and it looks like this. I'm going to write a letter. That's it. I've been pushed to the brink, you bastard. Nobody treats me like this, you son of a bitch. Huh? I'm not emailing this, I'm writing this. Wait till you get that tomorrow. Big red pillar box right in the mail. Postal strike.
We need to bring back a sense of consequences for our actions. In this world, there are no more consequences for actions, yeah? And what I'm talking about, if there's no consequences in this life, what we need to do is bring back to Britain a simple sense of hell. The idea that if we screw up in this life, right, we will burn in sulphur for all eternity in the next life. Now, this is quite a tough sell, right? You don't like that idea, do you? Right, but hear me out, this is a good idea. We got any Christians present? I need your assistance. Any Christian people here this evening? Yeah, in the pink shirt. What's your name, son? Josh. Fantastic. You a Christian? So you understand the idea of redemption, eternity, yeah? Resurrection, eternity in particular. And I do too. I understand the notion of eternity because I went to church on Sunday. Let me tell you this, that service went on forever. Right? If it took me an hour to open a bottle of wine, I'd be drummed out of business. Now, the point is this. How long does it take to own a packet of crisps? Get on with it. Now, we need to bring back... Now, the problem with the idea of hell is no one's frightened of it. Now, I'm going to describe hell for you now and none of you are going to bat an eyelid, right? And while your body's boiling in the mouldering in the grave, we'll take your soul and boil it in boiling oil for 1,000 millennium. Then after that, 2 sulphurous demons, emissaries of Satan himself, will come along, pull out your kidneys and set fire to them on the red-hot coals of hell itself. Then after this, another demon will come along, pull out your eyeballs, stick them on a red-hot poker, burn them on the hot coals of hell, and stick them up your arsehole, and they'll come out your own mouth with the shit on it. And this will go on forever. So you're not bothered by that, are you? In fact, most of you are laughing at it, huh? In fact, most of us, being British, are thinking, well, come on then! Got yourself the devil! And that's the interesting thing about hell, isn't it? When you describe it, when someone describes hell, it tells you everything you need to know about that person, right? And what he's like and what his people are like. And I describe hell then in a normal British accent, which tells you that we, the British, are stoic, tough people who could take absolutely bloody anything. Right? And that's the interesting thing about hell. It tells you about the people telling you about it. Hell, in a French accent, for instance, sounds like a recipe. And while the body is lying down and the worms inside the flesh, we take out the soul and place it in very hot oil for a long time. Then, once it is tender, 2 demons come together at once, remove the kidneys and place them on the hot coals with a little white wine vinegar, some sea salt, and cook them till they're brown on the outside, but still pink in the middle. Then after this, we take the eyeballs, place them on the hot coals, cook them till they're crunchy on the outside, runny in the middle, on the hot poker, stick them up the arse, they come out the mouth with the shit on. It is delicious. Absolutely delicious. Hey, you see? Perverts! Perverts, basically, yeah? Hell. Hell in a Dutch accent sounds like a pretty good stag do, doesn't it? Hey, and while your body is lying down, we'll take you to the hottest place you can imagine. Imagine the hottest place you can go, yeah? Now go even hotter. And 2 demons will come together and rub oil all over your body. 2 demons together. 2 demons together at once. And then you will take out your kidneys. Oh, your hot kidneys. Your hot kidneys. And place the kidneys in a hot place and cook the kidneys till they're hard, until your kidneys are hard. And then take out your eyeballs and stick them in your bum hole. And this will cost you 45 euros. Hey, are you ready? Sounds like an agreeable weekend.
I recently got one of those virtual reality sets into the house, you know, with the mask and the whole... How many of you have done this yet? 1, 2, 7. It's amazing. It's genuinely stunning to me how few people have had a go on this, like whatever. It's genuinely stunning. You put the mask on your head, it's got 2 screens, independent screens, so therefore everywhere you move, it's like perfectly realistic. You put the headphones in, it's like completely immersive. You're in a 360 degree in all direction, totally artificial world. It's genuinely stunning. I think it's going to change gaming. I think it's going to change movies. It is going to revolutionize burglary. It's just... You break into a house and somebody has that on their face, Jesus, relax, chill out, you've got an hour. They're not going to know you're there. There's no rush, you can choose what you want. I like that, but that'll work well in the hall. It's a different game, right? And the weird thing is, as you saw there, not everyone's having a go at this. This is a genuinely transformative entertainment technology, and not everyone is using VR, right? And one of the quiet reasons that no one's talking about it, the reason that people aren't using VR is because nobody's using it to watch porn. It seems like a weird thing to do, but in the kind of history of nerdy kind of things, porn is surprisingly important for getting new technology accepted. Porn is the reason why Blu-ray beat the other kind of special DVD in their race a few years ago. Porn is the reason that sometimes video streaming software beat other kinds of video streaming software. The stuff that gets used for porn has a place immediately in the market, right? And nobody is using VR for porn, right? And I'm not naive, right? I know that men are visual creatures, but I can kind of see, you know, no man, while actually making love, has ever there been going, oh my God, this is incredible. Oh my God, honey, this is amazing. Oh, I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Let me just have a quick look around the flat. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, that's amazing. Jesus, huge. Is that Corner Sing original now, or did you have a other? But the main reason that people aren't using VR for porn is because you cannot be entirely sure that she's out for the afternoon. And I mean 100% sure, because the stakes are really high. You do not look good in this situation. You do not need your loved one going, oh, I've left my credit card, I better go back in. What is this you're doing to yourself? Yes, I was bringing the kids to my mother's house, but the little one fell in, we've had to come home. But Jesus, this is what greets us. The nightmare is you finish the wank of the century, you take off the mask, and there are 3 police officers just staring at you. Going, do you have no idea what's been happening for the last while? Somebody broke into your house. They were spotted, we were called, there's been a standoff. You've been a hostage for 45 minutes. We've had to close off your road. Sky News have a helicopter slowly circling overhead. Your wife is outside on a megaphone going, stay strong, John, stay strong. And all the time we've been watching you on the thermal imaging. Just battering away at yourself.
Do you love London? I love London. I feel like London is created by the people, right? Who are just crazy and sexy and ambitious. I got into an Uber the other day, not bragging, and I got into an Uber and the driver, he said, would you like to have the radio on? And I was like, I don't mind, it's up to you. And then he said, well, actually, I make my own music. Do you mind if I put some of that on? No, I don't. And then he put on Drake's new album. I wonder how often it works. I wonder how often there's a middle-aged white woman thinking, oh, well, he looks like Aladdin and he sounds like confidence personified. Pull over and jump in the back, Nikolai. I'm having a good life. I have recently started doing yoga, which is just Yes, woo for the yoga over there. Are you a team? I'm new to it. I love it. Yoga has changed my life. It's brilliant. Yoga is my new drug. My old drug was drugs. Which I'm not going to say anything positive about because it would be incredibly irresponsible. I'm not going to say anything positive about drug taking. What I will say is I didn't take MDMA until I was 32, and it was such a relief to know I could be happy. The equipment's broken. But yoga is nearly as good, and there's no downsides. It's given me a whole new language. My favourite new word is namaste. Yeah, it's a very old word, it's very sacred, and it means the yoga has finished now. And then you're allowed to leave. I think that the key to being happy as you get older is self-acceptance. Like, I have to accept things about myself now. Like, I'm 36, I thought I would have children by now, and I don't. In an ideal world, what I wanted to self-fertilise. I wanted to have children that were exactly my genetics so that I could show them to my parents and go, see, it was my childhood, they're fine. Science can't do that yet. And then I had a crazy day last month where I just thought, I'm just going to buy some sperm. I'm just going to buy some sperm off the internet. I've got a good job. I'm just going to buy some sperm. Guys, sperm is so much more expensive than I thought it was going to be. It is tens of thousands of pounds. We are all wasting a valuable resource. 17-year-old me would have been a millionaire if I'd learned how to catch it and chuck it in the freezer. It's a shock. I do think self-acceptance is the key. Like, there's things about myself I don't like, but I just have to accept now that they're not going to change. This is who I am. Like, so for instance, I don't like art. I think art is rubbish. I think lots of people think art is rubbish, but we're too worried of looking stupid, so we go along with it. I think that the worst art form is theatre. Right, okay, I can sense how unpopular this opinion is. Hear me out. I think theatre is diabolical. Look, I do, look, and also, I'm aware, if you are a performer of some kind, if you're an actor, look, please don't be offended. I don't mean being in the play. Obviously, if you're the person in the play that gets to put a wig on and walk up and down and move your arms and project your voice, saying things like, I think you'll find you're contradicting yourself, Alan. Fun. Having to watch it. Dear Christ. I can't concentrate. I can't lose myself in the story. I know that it's not real because I'm surrounded by people eating crisps. And they don't let you look at your phone. So all you're thinking is, well, how long has it been?
I'll tell you something. Thank you. Thank you. I'll tell you what I saw the other day. This upset me, and I'm a pretty easygoing guy. You know what I saw? I saw an ambulance. Big sign on the back of the ambulance, on the back door. Do you know what it said? It said, this is an ambulance, not a taxi. This is an ambulance, not a taxi. I know, I can see. Don't worry, I can tell. I know it's not a taxi. You know how I know it's not a taxi? Because last time I called a taxi, it didn't take 3/4 of a fucking hour to arrive. That's how I know. While I'm on the subject, can I just ask, is it really strictly necessary in this day and age to have the word ambulance written back to front on the bonnet of the ambulance?
No, so if you see it in the rearview mirror, it says that.
I know why. I know why. I'm just questioning it. See, my point is, if the blue flashing light and the big red cross hasn't done it for you, just a hunch, but I suspect the word ambulance is going to be lost on you as well. So I'd like to know if there had ever been anyone in the history of the automobile who was driving along, looks in their rearview mirror and goes, huh, what the heck's this? Who's this joker with his blue flashing light and big red cross behind me? He's not getting past me. What does this say? Eculumbo? What does the hell that mean? Not getting out of his way. There's some pushy Danish furniture company behind me trying to get past me. You gotta watch it. You gotta. They're all at it. I saw a fire engine. Big sign on the back of the fire engine. You know what it said? It said, "Smoke alarms save lives." I thought, yeah, more like save you the bother of getting out of bed to put the fires out, you lazy bastards. You gotta watch it. AA vans. Well, Britain's 4th emergency service. You know, only in this country could coming forth be a boast. 4th, you say? My God, runner up to bronze. All the fun of taking part, none of the hassle of hanging around for a medal. Mountain rescue, they're grumpy bastards, aren't they? So you helped me down from a hill. You have no right to criticise my footwear. I was wearing flip-flops that felt like a walk. Well, volunteer service, you see, Jack. Yeah, and don't you keep banging on about it. Listen, pal, you wanted to rescue people, I wanted rescuing. We both got what we wanted, so shut your face.
I've realised that the musician I want to be is the drummer from Coldplay. I want to be the drummer from Coldplay so badly because that dude is rich as shit and no one knows who the fuck he is. No one knows who the drummer from Coldplay is. He could be here and no one would know. It could be you, it could be you, it could be you. I'm not sure it's an Indian woman, but it could be. We don't know. I'm obsessed with the idea that this guy has the best life in the world. And I was telling my friend about this, and she tried to tell me something that she was trying to portray as a bad thing. Apparently, he loves Game of Thrones, so he said to HBO, can I be in Game of Thrones? And they were like, yeah, man, you're the drummer from Coldplay. You can do literally anything you want. We'll restart The Sopranos if that's something that will make you happy, right? Now, he is in Game of Thrones. Confession time, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but even I know the Red Wedding is an important episode of Game of Thrones, right? He is in the Red Wedding. Guess what he is doing in the Red Wedding? He is the drummer in the wedding band. That is the extent to which this guy's anonymity is a borderline superpower. He is in the most famous episode of one of the most popular television shows in the world, doing the thing he is famous for, and no one noticed. That is Kaiser Soze shit. And my friend was telling me that she read a supposedly embarrassing story that one of the actors told. One of the actors said that when they were shooting The Red Wedding, he was making small talk with the extras, and he got round to the drummer from Coldplay and said, "Are you a full-time extra?" And the guy was like, "No, I'm a musician." So he said, to the drummer from Coldplay, "Have you played on anything I might have heard of?" To which the drummer from Coldplay was presumably like, "Have you heard of All Music?" Because I'm basically the drummer on All Music. And my friend tried to tell me this, like this was a sad thing. She was like, "Oh, this guy's in Coldplay, but no one knows that he's in Coldplay. Isn't that sad?" No, because the problem with being in Coldplay is that people hate Coldplay. People hate Coldplay so much. And the people who hate Coldplay don't say things like, "Oh, it's not to my taste." They say things like this, "I hate Coldplay!" But what you mean when you say that is, "I hate Chris Martin." No one is angry with the drummer from Coldplay. No one has ever been like, "Oh, the drummer from Coldplay! You ruined my life!" And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Nish, why are you so obsessed with the drummer from Coldplay? There's 2 other people in that band. We don't know anything about them either. And you know what? You're right. There's a guitar player and a bassist in Coldplay. I wouldn't know them even if they were here. I assume it's you two, but only because they sat next to her and I spoke to her already. That's all I've got to go on at this point. They have the exact same life as the drummer, because I did a bit of research into this. Turns out Coldplay are one of those bands where they split the royalties equally. So they have the exact same life as the drummer, apart from one detail. They have the exact same life as the drummer. They have the same level of wealth, access, and anonymity. But crucially, the drummer is sat down. And that is the dream.
All of the parenting stresses me out. All of it. Like right from the beginning, when you're pregnant, you've got to think of a name for your kid. You're like, right, we're going to have to name it. That's tradition. Going to have to give it a name. And it's hard to think of a name for a kid because that's their name. That's going to be their name all their life if it pans out. And I'm an indecisive person. I struggle to think of passwords for websites, and you get help for that, don't you? Like, oh no, weak. And names go in and out of fashion, don't they? Some names, they can be in fashion, but they don't come back in. We all know those names. And I tell you a thing that's back in fashion now, and I find it fascinating, is virtue names, right? That is back in fashion. Those virtue names is a sort of Victorian notion that if you name your kid after a virtue, they might live up to that virtue. But that's risky business, isn't it? That's hubris. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your son Victor. He could end up a bit of a loser. Ernest, he could become a bullshitter. Grace is an ever-popular name. I wouldn't risk it. You could call your daughter Grace. She could end up a sort of galumphing oaf. Sacking her head on low beams. Falling into crockery at dinner parties. You'd be like, oh, come on, Grace. Do your laces up, babe. Stop farting. Prudent, she'll end up lip deep in debt, won't she? Chastity. Although my son is called Frank. Someone said to me, you've done it, innit? You've called your son Frank. That's a virtue. To be honest, to be above board, to be trustworthy. I was like, oh, shit, never thought that. He'd end up an estate agent now, isn't he? He's funny, Frank. I think he's funny. I would say that, wouldn't I? Because I'm his mum. He's not funny. My child's funny. Tell a joke. Look at 774 pictures of my child. But I think he's funny, right? I went to pick him up from school the other day. I pick him up every day because they get proper arsey if you don't. They do. They ring you. They're like, where are you? I'm like, TK Maxx. Where are you? Oh, all right then, yeah. So, yes, I went to pick him up from school. And I was late, and I wasn't being very laid back that day. I was running a bit late, a bit stressed. I had my eldest with me. I had my mate's 2 kids that were coming back for tea. I thought we'd just get him and go. He's in reception. I was like, right, we'll just get off, yeah? But the teacher stopped me. She went, can you wait, actually? Can we have a quick chat? In that, voice. So I had to arrange my face into one of those mum pretending to give a shit faces. I said, go on, what's he done? She said, do you want to tell Mummy what you did today, Frank, or shall I tell Mummy? He's got upset now. He's like, you tell Mummy. I'm like, what's he done? What? She said, look, today, Frank stuck a digit up the teaching assistant's bottom. That's not ideal, is it? It's very difficult to know what to do with your face. I was going through all the faces in my phone. She said, we've talked about bodies, haven't we, Frank? And areas of bodies that we respect. I thought now would be a really bad time to go, this is awful. I mean, this is a finger up the TA's... I mean, this is now they're teaching numeracy in primary education now. It's not like, if Frank's got one finger up the TA's arse, how many fingers are still on the outside?
We're here to talk about relationships. Let's crack straight on with the first slide. Making... Don't laugh at that. That's not meant to be funny, please. Let's not have another Folkestone on our hands, please. Making divorce work. Now, given that it is a rocky ride, an emotional roller coaster, I start off with a joke, ladies and gentlemen, just to loosen us up. Here it is. If you're going to get divorced, you have to be like the man in the toll booth. Why is that, Keith? Well, you have to be willing to accept, this is the joke, change. It's a zinger. When you divorce, there is sweeping change. Changes right across your life in every area. One of the first things to change is the locks. You may come... Please don't laugh at that, please. You may come home one day and find that your key no longer fits your wife's lock. Another man's key is fitting your wife's lock. And stop that! Stop it! Stop! I'm stamping on that. Riaz with a Z, please. Stop it. It's not that sort of a show. Well, I mean, it's not a show, is it? It's a talk. But it's not smutty. So you may come home and find that your key no longer fits the lock. Good. Yes, it can. And it can be very difficult to tell why a relationship is going to go wrong. Why is that? Well, I think it's because at the beginning of any relationship, when 2 people get together, there's always a sense of what? Hammersmith, at the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Pardon? Worry. No. Anyone else? At the beginning of a relationship, a sense of... Foreboding. Foreboding is the wrong answer. Lust, no. Uncertainty. There's always a sense of uncertainty. A feeling of will they, won't they? And there's no way of... Please, Hammersmith, take it seriously. We're talking about emotions. A sense of will they, won't they? And there's no... Hammersmith, I will walk off the stage, please. There's no way of predicting when a couple get together whether or not the relationship will work. Will it last a long time? No. Not a chance in hell. Will they stick together? No. Will the marriage endure? Yes. Lee and Leslie. Now, Lee and Leslie are a lesson to us all. They've made a marriage work. So why is it then that when they can make a marriage work, so many others can't? Paul Simon said, there are 50 ways to leave your lover. 1. Hammersmith, time out. Please start to take it seriously. 1. Slip out the back, Jack. 2. Make a new plan, Stan. And 48 others.
I am what you call in show business a triple threat. I do comedy, and I do music, and I will cut you. Just joking, I probably won't. So it's so fantastic to be here today. I will be doing a little bit of music, so if you're a fan of NWA or Snoop Doggy Dogg, then I apologise. I'll be about 3 minutes. So this first song, this is about travelling on a train. Could you give me a cheer, Apollo, if you've ever been on a train before? About half. OK, great. Lovely. Well, the half of you who cheered, that means you are my target demographic. Congratulations. So I'm going to sing this song. This is about the worst thing any of us can ever encounter on a train journey. Just before I sing it, I have had some problems at previous gigs, actually, so I just want to make something crystal clear. If you listen carefully, I'm not even saying the word Hindu. Just listen harder. Hindu on a train. Hindu on a train. Cowboy hats and penis cakes. Neck tattoos and big L plates. And voices like a foghorn in a drain. Hindu on a train. Groping every passing male. I suspect you've been to jail. And God willing, you might all go again. And although I have so many things to say to you, I'm aware that there are 6 of you, and all of you have had more fights than me. I've never glassed someone, but I do know how. Perhaps I'll glass you now. Hindu on a train. You brought your own speakers too, brilliant. To belt out Calvin Harris tunes. I mean, the maid of honor's clearly on cocaine. Hindu on a train. You see me staring and you threaten me. Then drunkenly you all set on me, and with a dick-shaped bottle take your aim. If you only knew, we're not so different, me and you. Just 3 months ago, my friends Hindu, we got drunk and we pretty much hijacked a plane. We were worse than you. We went down on all the crew. Mostly reluctant gay men, some women too. We got thrown out of Spain. You see, we're all the same, but you're not listening, you're bashing out my brain. Hindu on a train.
We're very fortunate. We had a wonderful time in our life. I became a dad 18 months ago. He's actually 9 years old, but I've only just started getting involved. The hard work's done. I'll step in now, I think. No, he's a baby. He's a wonderful boy. It's stressful, very stressful. Not for me, for my little boy. Very stressful being a baby. His socks just fall off all day. Just start the day, you look down, his socks are off again. Imagine if you were going through that as adults. Your mental health would be in the gutter if you were going through that. I'm amazed it isn't more baby's first words when they learn to speak, not mum or dada. What the fuck's going on with these socks? Seriously. Mad being a baby. My little boy, he's 18 months old. He's got 3 xylophones. Why would anybody need 3 xylophones? There's professional xylophone players with less xylophones than this kid. I said to my wife, I said, why has he got 3 xylophones? She goes, oh, he likes to play one in the bath. That's some kind of eccentric billionaire. What is going on here? I'm enjoying being a dad. It's changed my whole perspective, to be honest, being a dad. Like, growing up, I used to think that I had an angry dad. Growing up, I always thought I had an angry dad. And now I'm a dad, and I'm like, oh, no. We just pushed a very reasonable man to breaking point. just a lovely guy. I think being a parent is a lot like eating a pomegranate. Like, there's really nice little bits, but ultimately, I'm not sure it's worth it. It's really hard. People give you mad advice as well when you have a kid. My little boy, actually, he's about a week old. I was holding him. And my mum, actually, she said, Josh, just think, that little boy you're holding there could go on to be anything he wants to be. He could be a top doctor, a politician, an astronaut. I was like, wow, that's incredible. But also, I wouldn't have thought so. An astronaut, from me to an astronaut in one generation. That's a hell of a leap. I went to the pub the other day. It was a push door. I was pulling it. I thought the pub was closed. I just went home. I could see people inside. Well, how have they got in there? What's going on? NASA are not knocking down my door. I don't think he'll be a politician either, because he's going to go to the same shit school in the Midlands that I went to. And politicians, they all go to the posh schools, don't they? And people don't like that. They say, oh, politicians, they all go to the posh schools. I think that's okay. I think that's fine. I don't think you'd want anybody from my school being in charge of the country. Maybe this is very progressive, but I think if you learn maths in a porter cabin, don't get involved in government. I don't know. If you learn about history by watching Blackadder on a wheeled-in TV, stay out of it.